Panicking about your date night makeup? Join Yachty and me as we create wearable date night glam looks that are super easy to achieve. I don't care if it's for Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day. Come on, sis. We're going to get some makeup done so you can feel beautiful on Valentine's Day and treat yourself. So first things first, we're going to set the base for some eyeshadow. Yes, we're doing eyeshadow today. Don't panic. It's going to be super easy. So I'm using white concealer from my beauty brand Timeless Beauty, and we're going to use that to set the base. I'm going to blend it out with a nice fluffy brush. Afterwards, you're going to choose your favorite bronzer. Specifically, mine is a Hula Caramel bronzer, and you're going to use this as your transition shade. So once you take that fluffy brush into that bronzer, you're going to go in a C-like formation above your crease from your nose to the outer corners of your eye, and you're going to build intensity until you get the depth that you would like. Remember to take your time with this because eyeshadow does take time, so blend. Take your time and blend. Also, I love using bronzer too as a shadow base because it is a perfect transition for when you're about to do any neutral look. Now I'm going to go into the Morphe Abby Roberts palette, and I'm going to go into that color Choco, and we're going to add some more depth, and we're going to put that in our crease. So the first shade was above our crease, the second one is in the crease in the same formation of that C shape. Keep using circular motions too when you're blending because it'll naturally start dispersing that shade out into the transition, which will make the blend even more seamless. Then I just tapped a tiny bit of black on the outer corner of my eye, and I'm also going to focus that in the crease, but I'm not going to take it all the way in. We're going to focus that on the outer corner parts of our crease. So you want the edge of your eye and slightly in to that crease, and you're going to take literally whatever's left on that brush and just blend. After we've gotten a softened shade, you can either use your setting powder or you can go in and use a cream type of base, and I mean color wise, not an actual cream product, and start setting your lid because we're going to go into a shimmer shade. Now if you like just a regular neutral cream base, then you can stop with this and just hold off with the shimmers, but we're going to go into a shimmer shade. Specifically, I use like this nice rose gold slash bronzy color from Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. I believe that's a day and night palette, and I like to spray my brushes beforehand just so it can pick it up nice and evenly, so when I lay it on you can see that shimmer. And we're going to put that over that base that we just did, and your base will determine how bright or how dark your shimmer shades will come off, so be mindful of that. Then we're going to go back in with that same brush we used to blend out the first 3 shades, and we're going to take whatever's left on that brush and just soften out the edges of that shimmer shade so everything flows together nicely. And afterwards we're going to go back into our transition shade that we used, which was the bronzer, and we're going to slightly put that over the shimmer as well in the outer corners, just so we can have a cute gradient effects. I love a gradient. I'm a sucker for it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And after we've built the intensity that we want, we're gonna go in with some liner, and specifically we're gonna use the NYX Cosmetics Epic Ink Liner. This one is in the shade Black. Another one that I recommend using is a brown. I love brown liners. They're so neutral, they're so soft, they're just really pretty. If you don't want a dramatic, which black tends to give, if you don't want dramatic, opt in for a brown. And we're not doing nothing crazy like a wing or a thick liner. This is literally just so when we put on our lashes, everything blends seamlessly. Then I'm going to go in with the Kush mascara by Milk Makeup. I love it down because I promise you I don't have any lashes in my opinion, and this just gives otherwise. Now we're going to go into the Maybelline Fit Me. This one is in the shade 300 Honey, and we're going to start laying our concealer down. So I like to make up underpaint. I feel like it serves as a guide, and it helps you know where you want to place your powder products in a sense of setting, so you don't set beforehand. You're like, oh, I didn't really care for the placement. So I like a lifted eye. I like a bright under eye as well, and I like to make sure the areas that are naturally highlighted are highlighted. And I'm also going to go into the Sephora Best Skin Ever concealer. This one is in the shade 22.5 in. I love her down. If you watch any of my previous makeup tutorials, you know I was going to pull her out regardless. Like, she just gives that beautiful, like, glowy under eye. She's literally that girl. Love her down. Now it's time to drown ourselves in setting spray. Hold your breath until I get done setting. I do not play about this part. Drown yourself, sis. We need it set. And fan yourself off like you're a hot lady in church serving the Lord right now. Amen. And honestly, I love doing this because, for one, it really makes the concealer even more blendable, especially because I like to leave it a little tacky and I don't want it to dry down too much. Then I like to go in with a setting powder brush to blend out my concealer. If you love to use your sponge, make sure it's damp. If you love to use your powder puff, even better. But I love this brush because to me it just gives off like an HD effect. It's just super gorge. And I like to start off with the quote unquote darker shade first, which is the Maybelline, and I like to work my way in. So after I've blended out that Maybelline, I like to go into the Sephora and just watch the way she just blends out. What I really love about the Best Skin Ever concealer is that when you let her sit for a little bit, she gets tacky, but then the coverage, oh my gosh, I keep saying this, listen, fine lines are normal, okay? Under your eye, it's normal. But for whatever reason, I just feel like this concealer just is like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take that away, sis. What fine lines? What wrinkles? I love this concealer to the moon. Like, she is so good. So if you ever want to invest in a product, I recommend the Sephora Best Skin Ever concealer. And like I said, I'm using 22.5 in, which means neutral, and I like to use her as a highlight under my eye. So now to bronze, I am using my Timeless Beauty foundation. That's nothing I love about my cosmetics line. So if you're new here, I have my own cosmetics line by the name of Timeless Beauty, and my first product is a foundation. And like I said, that's what I love about my foundations. They're very multifaceted, so you can get more than one use out of them. And right now I'm using it to bronze, and I like to take that also on my nose too, because my nose tends to get lost under the makeup because I kind of have a flat bridge on my nose. So doing this really just brings it back, and I like to just do that on the sides. And she just eats down. Then we're gonna go into the e.l.f. Camo blush. I believe this one is in the shade Pinky Promise. I love her and the placement. Everybody always tells me they love my blush placement. She just gives a doll baby, and I just feel like it adds to that lifted look as well. You can do this with any shade, honestly. Like, I have Gorge Orange by them as well. Any blush you want to use, just, I promise you, put the placement there and just watch your makeup go to like so soft and so feminine. It's literally that girl. And we're back at it again with my Timeless Beauty foundation. This one is in the shade Warm Mahogany, and just watch the way she melts into my skin. You only need 2 pumps, and I'm only going to use her under where I bronze. I don't put it all over my face. Only use her where it need be. And like, look at that. You can't tell me that's not a perfect match. I did my big one with this foundation line. Okay, 50 shades of perfection for a reason. And yes, I said 50, not 15. 50. That means some of everybody. Yeah, oh, sorry for my face, y'all. I don't know why my screen wasn't focusing on me. I didn't like that, so I had to give her the look. But yes, 50 shades of perfection. Then we're gonna go and set everything now. So I like to use the Makeup Revolution banana setting powder, and first when I do it, I like to press it on the powder puff, then press it on the back of my hand to remove the excess, and go on with the thin layer under my eye and focus it under my eye before moving out to my cheeks. That way I can build the coverage with what I want as far as the setting powder, and you can do the same. I recommend this because even though I have oily skin, I don't really use too many products that are oily. So if I overset, I'm going to be dry, and nobody wants to look dry and cracked. We're not doing that, which is also why I drown myself in setting spray. So I like to use thin layers. Then we're going to go with the Maybelline Fit Me Press Powder. This one is in the shade 330 Toffee, and I like to use this under my eye, on my top lip, and on my chin, and under my cheeks when I'm ready to carve out my cheekbones. This just tones down that setting powder because I don't want an extremely bright under eye. Now we're going to go back into that bronzer, and we're going to softly lift these cheeks. You see it. She looks stunning. Come on, cheekbones. And oh Lord, see, don't clock me on that blush. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to fix that because I realized she was really abrupt. And I like to go back and use my foundation brushes because they already have product on it, and it can really soften and marry everything together with the products that we're using. Now we're going to bronze this forehead of mine. Move that bang, sis. Do not just think you're going to do one side, because when the wind blow and you looking real wintertime fine and you're supposed to look summertime fine, somebody's going to clock it, sis. So move that bang and put that bronzer there. And we're also going to do it on the bridge of our nose too, because like I said, my nose tends to get lost. And then I'm going to go back in with the same brush that I used to apply the liquid bronzer, which is really just foundation, and we're going to blend her out. Then Maybelline Fit Me Press Powder again. You see that. Some people like to use setting powder. I like to use the pressed powder foundation because it works the same. We're literally just setting that foundation. Drowning ourselves, take 2. We're going to go in with the Morphe Luminous setting spray. I love it down. And we're going to drown ourselves again because this is what we do. And then after we let it sit for a little while, we're going to go back into that foundation brush and press in that setting spray I set at least 3 to 4 times because I need to make sure that that makeup is not moving. So if you're not setting like your makeup with setting spray at least 3 to 4 times, since I don't know. So we need to try that, okay? And then some people say that this is ashy. I beg to differ. I love it down. I love a lot of stuff down with my makeup routine, honestly. Calculate how many times I just said love it down. But we're going to go in with a pink eyeshadow from the Morphe Abbey Roberts palette. And I'm going to set my blush. So I like to use 2 different blushes. And I just like that gradient look. I like the ombre effect. I just feel like it really just, it just does something for me. I don't really know what exactly it does, but it just does something for me. And then I'm going in with a Juvia's Place Bella blush. And I'm going to focus that more towards the bottom part of the blush, not too much at the top, because like I said, we want that gradient. Now for the lips, you're going to go in with your favorite brown lip liner. I mean, you can honestly use whatever lip liner you want to use. I'm using Kiss New York Professionals brown, then I'm using NYX espresso liner, and then I actually used a gel liner that's like a dark brown, and I am lining my lips. And then afterwards, if I'm not mistaken, because you know my camera died on me, so I kind of had to finesse the system, I'm gonna go in with the Color Cosmetics nude sticks. I do not remember which shade this is, but it will be in the description. Then I'm gonna go into the MAC Cosmetics Creme de la Nude, and you can honestly stop here if you like for your lips to be nice and matte and you don't really care for gloss. However, I am a gloss girly, so it would not be an Imani E makeup tutorial if I did not put on gloss. So I'm going to go with the Lawless Beauty Forget the Filler Lip Gloss. This one is in the shade Nudie. She is super, super pretty. She's also cooling. She doesn't burn. And we're going to swipe her on and just like look juicy. You see it? Juicy. Period. Sis, it's not over with. Don't play with me. You better grab that setting spray. And what did I say? Drown yourself. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. And we gonna really get it in there. This time you don't have to go back into your foundation brush though. You could just let this one sit on your face until it dries down. And voila, this is the finished product. Be sure to also go check out Yachty's makeup tutorial for wearable Valentine's Day makeup as well. And I will see you guys in my next video. Do not forget to subscribe. Bye.